Hello, everybody. Today we are going to continue and keep talking about our story that we began last week. We talked about the man who talked to the animal. Let's start together, refresh our ideas that we talked about, and start new ones. Last time we took the man, a servant, a truthy servant, who was very trusted in that castle, and he, as we said before, he noticed that the king used to eat something special while there is no one on the dining table. And then here his curiosity took him to keep to keep watching the king until he took that plate one day and tried to know what is in that dish. And suddenly, when he took off the cover, he found that there was a white snake, and then he took apart a piece of that snake, and once he that piece of that snake touched his tongue, he started to understand and listen and hear anything from animals, birds, and he had that power to understand animals' language. And then, by the time the ring of the queen was lost, and they said that the king was extremely angry, and he said that it may be that you are the only one who is allowed to go around in the castle, so that surely that you are the one who took the ring. And then he was waiting to prove his innocence اللي هي براءته. Let's see what happened later. In his problem and fear, he was extremely scared of the king. He went down into the courtyard and took thought how to help himself out of his trouble. He started to think, what should he do? How can he prove his innocence? Now, some ducks were sitting together quietly by a brook and taking their rest. They were resting, and whilst it means while بينما they were making their feathers smooth with their bills, they were having a confidential secretly conversation. They were talking together in secret. The servant stood by and listened. They were telling one another of all the places where they had been waddling. They were talking about all places that they were in that castle, about all the morning, during the morning time, and what good food they had found. And one said in a pitiful, miserable بوضع يرثى له كانت واحدة. One of the ducks was extremely tired, feeling miserably, and said that something lies heavy on my stomach. I feel my stomach that it's extremely heavy. أشعر في شيء ثقيل في معدتي. As I was eating, while I was eating in haste, quickly, she was eating quickly, I swallowed a ring. So where is the ring that everybody is looking for, and even the trusted servant was looking for? Yes, the duck swallowed ابتلعت. The duck swallowed that ring while she was eating quickly. Yeah, which lay under the queen's window. So the ring fall down under the queen's window, and while the duck was moving in the castle's yard. She was trying to find something to eat, and while she was eating quickly, she swallowed that ring. So the ring was with that duck. Okay, the servant at once seized her, caught her by the neck, caught her by her neck, and carried her to the kitchen and said to the cooker, "Here is a fine duck. Pray kill her. Pray and then kill her." "Yes," said the cook, and weighed وزنها her in his hand. He was holding it and he said, "It's really heavy. She has spared no trouble to fatten from fatness herself. She was eating and she was fat and has been waiting to be roasted long enough." So بيعتادوا بالمزارع إنهم يطعموا الطيور، يطعموا الدجاج عشان إنها تصير أكبر so that when they roast it يطبخوها cook it, it becomes fatter, so it becomes more delicious and they can eat it better than others. So he cut her head, and as she was being dressed for the spit, once he cut his head, the ring went out of her mouth. خرج من فمها أول ما قطع once the cooker cut her head, the ring went out of her mouth. The queen's ring was found inside her. Okay, let's see what happened later. Yeah, the servant could now easily prove his innocence. He brought the duck and he put also the ring above it, and he brought it to the king, and he told him that he didn't take that ring and he was a really trusty servant. Okay, yeah, and the king, he was ashamed a little bit, and he told him that to make amends حتى أعوض عليك for the wrong that happened, allowed him to ask a favor, something that he wants, something is favorite for him, something that he can do for him, and promised him the best place in the court or castle that he could wish for, he wished to be or to have, it would be for him. The servant refused, disagree, رفض everything, and only asked for a horse and some money for traveling. He just want a horse to travel, yeah, as he had a mind to see the world and go about a little. So he want to go for a trip. He just only want some money and a horse and to go around the world in a travel. Okay, surely the king agreed. Let's see here. He started his travel. Okay, when his request was granted, he set out. وافق الملك. Surely the king agreed, and on his way, and one day came to a pond بركة, yeah, where he saw 3 fishes caught in the reeds, it means القصب, yeah, and gasping out of breath, can't breathe because they were out of the water, so that they can't breathe, were for water. Now, though anyway, it means though, it is said that fishes are dumb. He heard them lamenting, crying, talking sad each together, and يندب حظهم, and that they must perish, die, they will die so miserably راح يموتوا ميتة سيئة. And as he had a kind heart, he was a good one, he was a good man, he was a good person. So Once he heard him, he go down of his horse, نزل عن حصانه, and put the 3 prisoners back into the water, and he took the 3 fishes back into the water. They leapt, it means jump. With delight, they were extremely happy, and then they jumped into the water, but put out their heads. They put their heads and cried to him. They were crying of being happy, of happiness. We will remember you and repay you for saving us. We thank you for saving us. We will remember that you saved us. Don't worry, we will never forget you. Okay, let's see what happened here. As you see, there is an ant, and here is the good man, the servant, trusty servant, sitting on his horse. Okay, and he was continuing his trip, his journey, his travel. He rode on, and after a while, it seemed to him that he heard a voice in the sand. He heard a voice, but he couldn't notice where that noise came from. Okay, he listened and heard an ant king, ملكة النمل, complain, يشكو. Why can't folks, it means people with their clumsy stupidity, beasts, وحشية, they don't feel with others. Keep off, protect our bodies. How can they notice that they are walking next to us and they kill us, and they don't notice that we are here? That ant was talking to herself. Yeah, that stupid horse with his heavy hooves حوافر ثقيلة, has been treading يدوس, treading down my people, kill my people without mercy. So he turned, because he can understand that language. He can understand animals language. So he returned on to a side. ذهب لحافة الطريق, and he went to another way, not to treat down the other ants. And the ant king was extremely happy, sure, and cried out to you, we will remember you. One good turn deserves another. You are a good man, so that we will never forget you. We will remember you. So one good turn deserves another. Let's see what happened later. Here, as you see, we have this bird, which is ravens. Let's see what happened. The path led him into a wood. الطريق قادته في مسار الطريق أخذته للغابة. And there he saw 2 old ravens standing by their nest, next to their nest عش, and throwing out their young ones, their young ravens, their young babies out with you idle, lazy, idle, it means lazy, good for nothing creatures, cried they were crying, the young ones. We can't find food for you and any longer. Their fathers and their parents said that we can't find food for you any longer. You are big enough, and now you become big enough and can provide for yourself. You can find your food. You don't need for us anymore. But the poor young ravens lay upon the ground, flapping يخفق بأجنحته their wings and crying. They were crying. The ravens were crying. What helpless chick we are. We are helpless. We can't help ourselves. We must shift. We have to do something for ourselves. And yet we can't fly. But if we can't fly, how can we find our food? What can we do but lie here and starve? We can't do anything except lying here نتمدد on this stone and starve extremely hungry, die of being hungry because they can't find their own food. So the good young fellow lightened نزل. This good boy, this good man went down and killed his horse with his sword. قتل الحصان بسيفه and gave it to them for food. Yeah, I gave the meat of the horse to the ravens to eat it and cry. Yeah, then they came hopping jump to it. They were extremely hungry. They were satisfied their hunger. They satisfied their hunger, and they become no hungry anymore, no hungry longer, and cried. They were extremely happy and they cried and they said that we will remember you. One good turn deserve another. They told him that one good turn deserve another. سوف نرد جميل لك. Very very soon. We will stop till here and we will continue next time. I will write to several questions, comprehension questions, try to answer them. Thank you for good listening. Miss Souad, I was with you and we were reading this story together. See you very soon. Thank you.